Greetings, Honor. You're the first one here. I just unmuted you. How you doing? Hello? Are you there? Hi, Honor. Are you there? Okay, well, you don't have to talk if you don't want to. Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Go ahead, talk again. Hello? You might have to play with your volume button. At the bottom, there's a volume button. That's okay. You don't have to do anything, Honor. Just stay there. You can fiddle with it. I want to see if my sound is working. Okay. Okay. Yeah, my video, my audio is working, Honor. So it must be your audio. Let's see. Are you on a smartphone? You can text with me at the bottom if you want. There's a chat option. Because if you want to participate, I need to get your audio going. Anyways. Oh God, even Honor left. Ooh. Hey, Manuel.
How are you, John?
I'm on the beach.
I believe you. I believe you.
Where are you?
I am on my way to hospital, but I'm gonna stop to the class because I'm gonna take the metro, so I don't gonna have time. So I'm gonna stop in a coffee magazine, sit and take the class, and then go to hospital.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have duty. I have duty today.
Oh, do you have restrictions in Moscow with Corona?
Well, let me show you. People are like okay. You see, all is fine. Well, no, fine, but here is between like a little paranoid and I don't know how to say.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, people. There's in some parts of the world, there's a lot of restrictions for doctors. They cannot leave the house unless they're with police.
Wow.
In Bulgaria, Italy, to go to the hospital, they need an escort. Yeah, so, but these are in the bad places, you know.
Yes. I think. Yeah. This is the problem of the politics stuff, because when people put the politics stuff before people, always there is a chaos.
Yeah.
So what they need to do is to put quarantine, because this is very serious stuff. You see people, of course, there is not so much people like usually in the street, but you see the metro, and the metro is full anyway.
Yeah. Because Korea is the model. South Korea, they are model because they have stopped it. They have stopped it there. And we need to have other countries copy them, copy what they do.
Yes, but for that they need you know, they have a very good education. I always say, you see, there is a lot of people everywhere. I'm gonna sit in a coffee to take the class.
This is good. This is good to get a tour of Moscow.
Well, I think this is secret. It's closed. Okay, it's closed.
The coffee shop's closed?
No. What's that restaurant? No. You see, everything is open. I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna sit.
This is, you know, Manuel, right? He's taking us a little tour.
Hello, Professor.
Everything all right?
Yes. I'm taking a place to sit, to take the class, a coffee magazine to sit and take the class. Because I am on my way to hospital, but I'm gonna sit in a place to take the class and then go, because I have duty today. But I don't see any good place to sit.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to do the class right now.
Okay. Do you want to try something? You want to try to do a Facebook Live now on your own, like for a few minutes, and then just leave it and just say you're going to tell your followers that you're going to give a presentation in a few minutes, and I'll see you there, and I'll post the link on your website. Do you know what I mean?
I can do that right now.
Yeah, it's like a promo intro. I mean, you leave this because you're going to need the camera just for Facebook Live. Leave this and just go to your Facebook Live and start it. And I'll televise that too.
I'm going to do the Facebook Live from my phone.
Okay. Is that okay? Simultaneous. Well, we'll try it.
Yeah. So I'm going to do my Facebook Live from the phone.
Okay, and I'll look for it, and I'll I can actually post that in a screen share. And I'll probably get a notice saying that IPE is now live. Do you know what I mean?
Live?
No, I should get a notice from you when you go live that you're live.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going on to the Facebook right now, and here I am. I'm on live.
Okay, I haven't got. Okay, I want to go to your yeah, I'll go to your right here.
Hello. So today is the second day where we're doing the neurosurgery daily dosage to all the people affected by this virus. Let's again, as before we said, let's go again with kindness, compassion, and let's not be COVIDiots, spreading false information and making panic amongst our ranks. There's no need to do that. So today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about anterolateral skull base workshop. So what is the secret of skull base work, especially the most common anterolaterals, most common skull base work is anterolateral. So what is the use of all this drilling? Why do you want to drill such a lot of bone before you get into the skull base? This is what we're going to talk about in Neurosurgical TV today. We need to figure out the reason for this is just not bone drilling. It's about it's about brain protection. So we're going to look at this. So in Neurosurgical TV, if you can go to Neurosurgical TV, and then all of those who are neurosurgeons, young neurosurgeons, please go to Neurosurgical. And then in 5 minutes, let's be having a discussion. This is not going to be a class like the first time or any time. This is just going to be a discussion. So in this discussion, I'm going to talk for 5 minutes, and after that, we're going to discuss as to if you got any doubts, we're going to discuss. If you got any difference of views, we're going to discuss. And then I'm going to show you a few operative videos of how we're going to do this. Thank you very much. See you soon. See you all very soon.
Okay, that's an introduction. And that's a way to tell your followers what you're doing.
Yeah, so let's start in 5 minutes.
Okay, let me stop recording this here. Okay, 10, we'll start, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Greetings, this is Dr. John Bennett, televising from Miami Beach in the background. We have the second in the series of Daily Dose of Neurosurgery Education with Ike Sherian. This is number 2. Let's meet a couple of the panelists before we turn it over to Ike. Hello, Manuel. Go ahead, Manuel.
Hello, John. How are you? How are you, Professor Cherian?
Absolutely fine, Manuel. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Professor.
Manuel strolling around the streets of Moscow, right?
I am in my way to hospital, but I stopped because otherwise I don't want to have time, because I'm going to take the metro to the hospital, and in the metro I don't have good, I don't have internet, I don't have connection. So I stop in the magazine, I sit, I take the class, and then go to the hospital.
Okay, very good. Okay, welcome, Khalif. You're just arriving here. Can you hear me? Go ahead, Khalif.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. Thank you. I'm joining you with my phone today, so I'm in a hospital. So
well, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? You can do that. You can do that. Hi, Fez. Are you there? Are you there? Hi, Fez. You want to introduce yourself? Possibly not. Okay, welcome, and it's all yours.
Right. So this class, we're going to talk about anterolateral skull base surgery. Now, here's the skull. Okay. If you're going to look at it, you're going to find a few peculiar features of the human brain and the skull. The first peculiar feature is that the skull, a lot of bones in the skull, forms the base of the brain and insinuates into the brain. It gets into the brain. So much so that at some point, if you don't know your anatomy, you don't know at what point is the brain and what point is the skull. So this is very important. So for example, you see the tuberculum there. You see the anterior clinoid there. You see the petrous apex there. These are all in very intricate relationships with the skull base and the cranial nerves and the vessels. And if we get millimeters out of drilling these structures, you're going to have operative space to take out tumors, to drill, to clip aneurysms and so on. Now, what is the principle of anterolateral skull base, which is the most common approach done anywhere else? I mean, this is done for cystonostomy also. That means for trauma. And trauma is one of the most common approaches. So we're going to talk about that first. Number one, I'm not going to show you many drawings or anything. I'm going to show you how the brain is. So do you understand when I say this is the frontal lobe and this is the temporal lobe? Everybody understands? There is a folding like that. Do you understand that? The frontal, when you draw the brain in 2 dimensions, you're going to draw this. For example, anybody who can draw me the picture of a brain, anybody? Like yesterday, can somebody draw me the picture of a brain? Khalif or Hafiz or, okay, if you don't have the paper, I'm going to draw it for you. You see that? I got a problem with I can't see that, so I know. Okay, I think I cannot. Okay, can anybody, because of this background, I think it's because I cannot show. Okay, I'm going to show it with my fingers again, all right? So this fold, are you able to see me? Everybody looks frozen. So are you able to follow what I'm saying? Everybody? Manuel's screen looks frozen.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah, Manuel, can you hear me? Everybody, can you hear me? So this is the first fold.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Prof.
Frontal lobe, temporal lobe. This fold is in what plane? It's in the sagittal plane. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? This is the sagittal plane. So if I make a cut like that, you will find this fold. That is called the sagittal plane. So this lock, this folding is called the sagittal folding of the brain, frontal lobe and temporal lobe. Do you agree with me? Yes? I think the internet for people, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, we are hearing you.
Yes,
Right.
yes. I
Yes.
made the drum, Professor. I sent to you of the brain. You asked us.
Okay, right. The second folding, the frontal lobe here, the temporal lobe here on the side. So the first one was like that. The second folding is like this. So the frontal lobe, basifrontal region is here. The temporal lobe is here. So when you have the temporal lobe, this is the axial fold. The first one we talked about was the sagittal fold. This one is the axial fold. What is the axial fold? Axial fold is the temporal lobe is like this. Okay? This is the second folding. And the last fold is the sylvian. Sylvian fissure is intradural. So you have an oblique fold. So you have, it is not axial or sagittal, but it's an oblique fold where you have the frontal lobe like that and the temporal lobe. So you open the sylvian and then you will reach the base of the brain. You know, before extensive extradural skull base work was practiced, Yasagila and his school primarily used sylvian dissection to get into the skull base. If you look at all these masters, you have Yasagil, many of those masters from this region, they used the sylvian fissure primarily to get into skull base. I mean, everybody knows that if you want to do a craniopharyngioma, you want to do a basilar tip aneurysm. By the way, aneurysms are skull base pathology. Huh? If you want to do a ACOM aneurysm, if you want to do a planum meningioma, you need different degrees of sylvian dissection. So sylvian dissection is intradural unlocking. So what is it? It is a oblique fold of the brain which you are unlocking it. Atraumatically, you are unlocking it. Atraumatic unlocking is a trick. I mean, it's an expertise. Some people do a very traumatic unlocking of the sylvian dissection. I mean, they do a very traumatic sylvian dissection. That's not correct, okay? But beautiful sylvian dissection is a way of unlocking the oblique lock of the brain. But what about the first two locks? The first two locks, sagittal unlocking, how do you unlock in a sagittal direction? You take off all the bone between. You take off this bone, that is the orbital roof. You take off the lesser sphenoid wing. You take off the clinoid. You take off the greater sphenoid, little bit of greater sphenoid wing laterally. And this is unlocking the brain in a sagittal fashion. This is extra. This is bone drilling, where you unlock in the sagittal fashion. And how is axial unlocking done? Axial locking is like that. Axial folding is like that. So to get into the interpetuncular fissure, which is my this thing, let's say the basilar is here. So, you know, how do you unlock? You take the temporal lobe off the cavernous sinus. You take the temporal lobe off the cavernous sinus. This is the secret and the genius behind Dolling's approach. Transcavernous dissection is a genius technique to take off the temporal lobe away extradurally. You know, the Japanese modified it into the intradural temporal mobilization for basilar tip, but Dolling did it extradurally. So what he did was he took off the temporal lobe, lateralized the temporal lobe away from the cavernous sinus, so that getting into the interpetuncular system, that is the posterior most part of the skull base, the brain base, was easier. So these are the three unlockings. Sagittal unlocking. How do you do sagittal unlocking? You drill off all the bone and then up to the clinoid, and then you create space in the sagittal plane. Axial unlocking, how do you do it? You manipulate the temporal lobe. I mean, you don't manipulate actually, you just pull back the temporal lobe. This can be done bloodless. So if you know your orbitomeningeal band anatomy and you follow a few papers and see how we do this, you can see it on YouTube so many times. So you can see that you can cut this orbitomeningeal band and you can go take it back, and then you could go ahead and mobilize the entire temporal lobe back, so that you can get into for basilar aneurysms and things like that. And the third unfolding is the Sylvian dissection, where you go ahead and do a Sylvian fissure dissection, get into the base of the brain. So today's class is the basic principles of anterolateral skull base. And after that, we will be showing you examples of this in the coming days, like a basilar bifurcation aneurysm, like many cases where we have to do a axial unlocking or a sagittal unlocking or a Sylvian dissection. So we're going to show these examples later on. So as long as you understand the three principles behind getting into the anterolateral, not skull base, to the brain base, you kind of understanding as to what a skull base surgeon is doing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ike. Do you want to, any comments or questions from the panelists, please? Oh, let's meet a few new arrivals. Dr. Boniface and Joanna, do you want to say hello? Introduce yourself to Ike. I don't know if anybody's hearing me today.
Okay, I can hear you. Thank you
okay,
for the good lecture. I'm Dr. Boniface from Tanzania.
Oh, welcome.
I can hear.
Welcome.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Hi, Boniface. Did you understand what I was trying to say, Boniface? Did you understand what I was trying to share?
Yes, because I started a bit late, so I've gained a little bit. So maybe if you continue, then I can get more and more.
Yeah, I'll send you the recording, Dr. Boniface.
All right, thank you.
Don't worry about it, John. I will tell him once more.
Okay.
So there is no problem. So this is the thing, you know, class, we are not worried about the time or anything, repeating it. So Boniface, so listen.
Yes.
You imagine this is the frontal lobe and this is the temporal lobe. So the brain is folded like that. You know that, right?
Yes.
So that is the sagittal plane.
Yes.
And the brain is also folded like that. This is the frontal lobe, this is the temporal lobe. So the brain is also folded like this. So can you see that in the axial plane also the brain is folded? Do you understand me?
Yes, I understand.
So you have an sagittal folding and axial folding. And then in the very end, you have an oblique folding. That is, the frontal lobe is like that and the temporal lobe is like that. So you have a oblique folding intradurally. That is a Sylvian fissure. So if you dissect the Sylvian fissure, you can get into the base of. So this is what, these are the three foldings of anterolateral skull base surgery. So how do you address each of these foldings? So for the sagittal folding, you drill off your orbital roof, your lesser sphenoid wing, your anterior clinoid, your little bit of your greater sphenoid wing, all that you drill off, you will be able to do a sagittal unlocking. If you are able to take off the temporal lobe extradurally from the cavernous sinus, this is Dolen's approach, okay? We will show you Dolen's approach. If you are able to take off the temporal lobe laterally, we will be able to do a extradural temporal mobilization, and this is called axial unlocking. And if you are able to dissect the Sylvian intradurally, this will be the third unlocking. It is called the oblique intradural unlocking. So by these three maneuvers, you can get the entire skull base beautifully laid out before you. So this is the principle of the principles of the 3 principles of anterolateral skull base approaches. This is what we were discussing. And from tomorrow on, Boniface, we will be showing, tomorrow we will show you a cadaver dissection where I show all 3 unlockings. All 3 unlockings very clearly, okay? Tomorrow we will show you a cadaver dissection. And from then on, we will show you aneurysms, skull-base tumors, where we are using these principles, and then you will understand what I am doing, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Very well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions for Ike? Okay, Ike, well, does anyone else have something to say? Perhaps not. Okay, Ike, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. And the topic tomorrow is
Cadaveric, so tomorrow will be cadaveric dissection depicting all 3 unlockings.
very good. Okay, great. Thanks, Ike. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, John. See you, John.
Okay, hey, Ike, we're off. We're not recording now. And let me stop the both of them.